Jade. I just met the used car salesman of colors. I just don't really want to spend time with him, but he's a nice guy, but he's always and talking about demons and how human beings of every economic class suffer from demonic mental health issues. It doesn't mean that they're demons and people. I've met people talking about like, oh, they're Jewish demons and they're trying to break out of the earth prison and get back into heaven. And you see very elaborate. It's because it's hard to understand. Humans can sense that something's wrong with humans. Humans are taught to compartmentalize these problems, and or humans go off into very respectively hyperbolic degrees, as I do, or at least I could risk that, to describe negative human behavior. Human behavior to people like me is negative all the time. Okay, like, most people are not that honest. They're not that grounded. They're not that healthy, not just physically but mentally. Right? It should be work for you. It's work for me. Right? It should be work every day. And I'm talking about, like, a lot of people have this demonic side to them, or at least part of the spectrum of their mental profiles, emotional profiles. And don't worry about getting angry about it. Being angry is not a demonic trait. Being in denial is, right? You're more likely to act like a demon if you're dealing the appropriate way with demonic mental illness. The people I have trouble with are people like who never get upset, always prim and proper and smiling and laughing all the time. I wonder what's wrong with them, But I had a very sober, down-to-earth talk with my mom. It just grounds things a little bit, right? Again, I showed her that I'm actually a pretty confident human being, but people I just met would never really get that value out of me. They're not bad people, but right, the last time he sent me a message on the email, he was completely ambiguous as to where he was and when he would be there. And he thinks that's regular. And I don't know why. But I noticed talking to him beforehand, already being clear that he was going to be unclear. And he didn't really want to spend time with me unless he can put conditions on it about what I need to do for him. And people do this, so they enslave you to their friendship, right? And from the first, like, this person is going to cost you years of your life, And it's interesting. I usually see him at Top Bridge. I saw him here today. I don't want to. Again, but I'm glad that we could make contact, interact with it. Sometimes that's helpful, more helpful than not. And then never see him again would be great, because it freaks me out. So I can tell by how much I'm sweating how warm it is today. This is amazing. I mean, the temperature is fucking... it's amazing. So I'm safe. And I'm friendly with them, him and his girlfriend. That's fine. good. Just have to pee. Ah, yeah, so it's incredibly balmy for this time of year. So I'm enjoying that. I had dreams about animals last night. Nature's been very good to me. I talk about evil a lot. I've had to deal with evil. Human beings, you could say, oh, humans are all demonic. And you wouldn't be wrong. Humans have demonic psychological profiles. A big part of that is the economic industry. Right? So people work like a demon. People think like a demon. They behave like a demon. And pretty soon, in terms of what we would consider narcissistic sociopathy, people are pursuing all kinds of amazing things to all kinds of amazing profit or not to them or other people. And then things get missed and people get eliminated and raped. And before they're raped, they're eliminated. And after they're raped, they're eliminated. And people don't know how to think about people that they just don't need to think about in their own families. I know a fire chief. He's saving people's lives. He's out there. He's working really hard. He's making good money. He's doing this, but he's eliminated his children. He's a sociopath. His values have become completely skewed. It's more like he's in a cult that is taking him, and he's letting it take him away from his family. So he has no relationship with his children, who are probably graduated by now. You know how people love respect? How we love to be respected. Isn't that cool? Isn't it nice to be respected? I don't mean like you walk around and people high five you and like, whoa, it's the Presidio, you know? But it's nice to have respect. But not all respect is good. I mean, some people respect you because they want to fuck you. They respect you because they're afraid of you. They respect you because they might need something from you. And you notice the people whose respect you want the most, you're fucked. I do so much walking outside. I see food almost a mechanical way. I just have to shove it in my mouth. But I keep myself eating. I should get going soon. I shouldn't sit here too long. I'm just going to smoke a little bit. You want your father's respect. You want your mother's respect. There's certain people's respect that mean more to you than others. And while other people's respect might not mean a lot, the lack of it is problematic because people usually hurt you when they don't respect you. Or if they do hurt you, you suspect they don't respect you. And that's part of what hurts so much. You know? In other words, if you're in a store and somebody accuses you of shoplifting and you're not, right, you're probably not the owner of the store because they wouldn't accuse the owner of shoplifting. They wouldn't accuse the owner's daughter of shoplifting because they don't respect you as much. So we live in a trans of giving and trusting, if only provisionally, that we're going to get a certain kind of respect that isn't really the same respect that people would give people they really well. And it's so common and so needful in any economics to give and exchange provisional respect. I come into your candy store, you respect, I respect you, until something bad happens, right? But there are different ways that reveal that respect really only goes so far. And when it's gone, it's like being raped. Because to be raped is to be robbed of something that you your safety to. I came into a store one day, and because the owner is such a coward, I had to run his while I was run into the ground. I had to literally be consumed in a crucible they couldn't do to manage their own affairs and their own private mental health. To flame me in public. This man stalked me for a month. He had stalked me. He was evidently stalking me. If you were walking on my shoulder and visibly in the store, I could show you this man was stalking me. This person had no good interest in me. And the reason is that he was possessed of a lie. He was possessed by a lie. And he was getting something out of it. He did a deal with the devil, as it were. I do not like that guy very much. I want to maintain a good relationship with him. He's got a dog that just barks incessantly, but that's never a good thing. But I don't want anything to do with that guy. Does that sound mean? I've never usually see him, and I don't want to see him again. I'm glad I did in a way, because I was talking about demons and evil, and I don't consider... His girlfriend seems like a nice person, but again, like, I want to meet normal people. And you don't meet... They're not out here, so... My fault. Because they just make you feel bad. Evil people just make you feel bad. No matter how happy or nice they are, you just don't feel great. You don't feel great. They're not healthy. You can tell that. I've spent my entire life dealing with family who aren't really family in the sense, who started stalking me when I was about 16 or younger, and have never stopped. To this day, I get stalked by... My sister tends to lead the thing, my brother. They're stalkers. They're exactly what a stalker would be. And a stalker pursues an interest in knowing, devoid of all credible and demonstrable interest in what you have to say for your own safety and well-being. That's a stalker, right? Very simply, right? And so my dad and my family started stalking me when I was very young. So essentially, I hide out in the woods, you might say. They're not like physically stalking me, but I do that in reminiscence of them, stalkers. So today, I have a purpose. I was sleeping, and when I was waking, I had some good medicine dreams. So I think it's a very good day to do magic. It's a magical day. Ask for what you wish. What do you really wish? What do you want to get rid of? And what do you really want to preserve? So if you want to get rid of things and evil, destructive people of any kind, because remember, anyone can be destructive. I'm not teaching people whomever. I'm saying that anyone you know can be destructive. It's up to you how to deal with it. But just acknowledging it isn't wrong. It's a step. Right? You could be letting them be destructive. You could be provoked. You could be destructive. There's all kinds of possibilities. When you see them, you might see you. Well, if they're destructive to me, how do I know I'm not being destructive to other people? Why don't we just keep the status quo? right? So today, I want to wish the health and wealth of my home and family, my health, my life, greatness. I really want to wish myself to have a viable means of very sufficient and opulent support through my own labors, through my own craft, and to generate an income of $3,000 to $6,000 a month. I want my mom to be healthy, my dad to be healthy, the rest of my family healthy, but that also includes me being healthy. And it means, if necessary, being kept away from that. If I had more money, it would give me more power and more safety. There's nothing wrong with that. There are people in my life that, for the most part, are not meant to be in it, or make themselves a nuisance or whatnot. I just, since I have the emotions available, I'm going to make it to the pentagram, which is kind of anointed. There's a certain kind of energy to it. When I made it, you could taste my mother's breast milk after I made this pentagram. So it's really showing a lot of integrity in my development. And I can sort of ask for what I want. The bear and the raven in my dreams last night, I was actually offered by a native person to eat of the body of the raven, cooking on top of a fire. It was like, with all their feathers. And then something like crab meat as well. It was kind of moving. I was like, oh, what's this? Like, so lots of different medicines around me. Eat. Make use of it. It's there for you. Let's see what we're seagull. There's a man and his wife who have been stalking in the area for over 2 years now. I don't interact with them. Making good time. The Orange Bridge, 5 to 10 minutes. There's a man who thinks he's a man. Never ask people's when they walk on public land. Some of these people want. They're crazy. They're demonic. They're sociopaths. People in service, in careers, in so-called society, they lose their sense of proportion. That's why they get fat or ugly and sick. They've lost sense of proportion. Attacked, sexually assaulted by 3 fat psychopaths who work for the government in under one pretext. And they told me that I should pay more to use the sewer system because I was such a useless person. And that if they were my father, that's what they told me. These people don't use it enough. Can you imagine? What kind of sickness do you have to talk to a human being that way? Those people are dying. And I saw one of them one day, one of these disgusting buses, while I was on the disgusting bus. And she was walking on her lunch break. Sure enough, her body was just exploding with evil. Just exploding with disease. She's diseased. She'll die early. entrepreneur, and she's the lowest economic earners in this neighborhood, but she's the nicest person. Isn't that always the case, eh? But the retired childcare workers living off their pensions and living off of children they've abused, well, they know who belongs here and who doesn't. They know everything. So I've been raped in public. And again, stalking and rape are very connected. So stalking, the person has an interest in you, which is removed or devoid of a critical, demonstrable into their own sense of their own safety. Once you say no, they don't accept no for an answer. Right? Stop, they don't stop. You say that's wrong, that hurts, they keep going. They're just sexual predators at that point. It's not about sex. Those people I met today, they're demonic. They're friendly to me. That's fine. I never want to spend any time with them. They're both over 100 pounds overweight. Their dog's overweight. People here are not real people. That's not how real people work. Made it past the Orange Bridge. We got lots of good food. Budget's looking all right. Budget's looking really good. So I was doing my budget today, and it's like, I'm looking very good. I'm looking really good. So I had a little bit of a game. My mom wants to take a little more extra money off me this month because she's made a lot of poor financial choices. And she has trouble separating certain boundaries. So she puts herself into debt. I said, Mom, if someone gave you $10,000, you'd pay 3 men $10,000 to dig you a $20,000 hole. And that's what she does. It's a mental problem. She had all this money and then she just dug herself a hole. She doesn't plan to succeed. Doesn't have enough to do. And the strange thing is that she doesn't seem to know this, is that during this entire year, she's been getting advice from my sociopathic sister. No disrespect, but she is a sociopath, and who seems to know it all about finance, who isolates my mom from me, just like a sociopathic cult, and has given her all this, and they have all this relationship, but my mom has had one of the worst financial years of her life, and is no more happier than when she deals with my sister like she deals with chiropractors or homeopaths. She gives them all her suspension of disbelief, but they never fucking do anything for her. They never do anything. They just take her money. My sister takes her time, her peace of mind, and she's on mine. I said, Mom, I don't get sick anymore. She said, that's good. Yeah. We fixed that. What do you mean we? I said, it was a domestic issue. Right? This is a domestic good for us. Good for us. We stopped that from she's been assaulted domestically, raped, and she was assaulting me. And my sister is a negative component of that as well. That helps isolate my mom from a proper consideration for me as a human being. Right? My sister is a sexual predator, right? And my brothers, uncles, sexual predators aren't people that are just looking to hump or to rape people in back alleys. They're stalkers. They're people who have lots of high principles, want to help people and get involved in people's lives, but they're not able to consider other people's personal sense of their own safety. Those are sexual predators. They're often indefatigably sick, unhealthy, demonic, stupid people of all economic levels. That's what I mean. And demonic mental illness is in everybody, or can be. His name is Jay, and her name is Jade. That is so interesting. Jade. Yeah, I don't know. I said to my mom, the best thing that we have is our health. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. You know, I said every day I go out and I wish you well and sound. You're my family. You're my home. You're everything to me. I want to be well. I want my family to be well. I wish all my family well. I have to. That's what family is. You know, to give you some idea of who she's dealing with. I said, you've talked to Lindsay off and on for the last year. Have you ever talked about what I enjoy doing with my time? She's like, no. If I died tomorrow, how would you know what I've spent my life doing? You see? And so sociopaths don't concern themselves with other people while remaining evinced, one and all, that they are of the utmost interest in the well-being of others. Okay? So sociopathy and narcissism, these are very slippery illnesses, right? And they get in there and they just suck the life out of people. And a lot of people die from them and they don't even know what's happening. Sociopaths are so degraded, like alcoholics, they can get what they want by not doing anything right that a person should do. And they can get what they want and walk away and get what they want. They're willing to stoop to get what they want. What nature has shown me, and the hardest part of my work, and the hardest part to get people to listen to, is how sick people are. How absolutely sick they are. Human beings have a range of sicknesses and depravity and degradation, which most people don't want to talk about, don't notice, probably would say they're reasonably sure it doesn't exist. And yet where does all the domestic abuse come from? I've seen my fair share of it. Total strangers, bus drivers, police officers, teachers, store owners, managers, employees. I have been stalked, disparaged, or I've watched other people be disparaged. The quality of how human beings, over many hundreds of years now, grow up devoid of any appreciable interest in the well-being of other people. And we live, I go home, I spend all day by myself. I come down to the ocean, what's called the boardwalk, and they're fat walking up there. And my spirit told me, don't walk up and down this boardwalk. These people, they make you sick. That's how sick they are. They actually make people sick just being near you. They're so mentally devoid of any real vivid appreciation for the value of life. They're full of crap, they're full of excrement, they're full of shit. They don't do anything. They did their jobs, but they did nothing else. They did nothing else in life. They go on fat fucking cruises filled with quantums of fucking food in their fat asses, reading paperback novels and reading positive slogans from Oprah Winfrey about your new lease on life. They live for intoxicating releases from the diseases of their everyday world. Bliss, excitement, relief, right? And it's important. Human beings live to eat food, take a good crap, all those things. But that's not enough, and you know that. You need other forms of stimulation. I'm walking in, there was a young man just ran by. He looks like Conor McGregor. He's going for a run. That's awesome. He's got the right body for it. He's got a light frame, right? But a lot of people, like I would say, jogging is probably not for you. It's a very impactful activity, you know, and yet white people tend to favor it. Men and women, they love running. What are you running from? One wonders. Hey, who's chasing you? I want to go behind him and start chasing, please. Okay, does this make sense? Hey. Okay, so here's the crossing point. Crossing point. There. So we made it this far.